Unfortunately, 2 girls were killed in a hit-and-run crash.
The man you see here, speaking on a YouTube live stream about 2 girls killed in a hit-and-run, is reportedly the 17-year-old who is now charged with their murders.
I wish my
Okay, y'all, I wasn't even added to the stage on this one, so let's do it again. Hello. Thank you for watching my channel. Please like, share, and subscribe, and leave a comment. I'm new at this, so I'm just working hard, trying to get used to the program, the StreamYard program. We're going over, I had a previous live, but I had to end because the internet man was here and he wanted to shut off the internet. So, okay, we are talking about the girls in New Jersey now that met their unfortunate demise by this gentleman here. Well, allegedly by this gentleman here. So let's go ahead and hear what he has to say.
Sincerest condolences to those 2 girls lost in that tragic accident.
Family members of the victims say the person who killed the girls allegedly stalked one of them for months, plotting to kill her. NJ.com was the first to report Vincent Battelloro as the suspect, confirming his name through traffic tickets. What else he reportedly said on live streams about the alleged murders that appears to be about one of the victims. We're on the case presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart.
Okay, y'all, my question is this, he's on a live stream with his best friend. Why didn't his best friend call when he knew his friend was becoming unhinged? I mean, he knew all this stuff that was going down. It's just horrible.
This story is about a 17-year-old who, after allegedly killing 2 girls with his SUV, went home, played video games, and streamed it live on YouTube talking about the case.
And there's more to the story that you're not getting, but when the time comes, I will explain it in greater detail.
That is reportedly 17-year-old Vincent Battelloro, and this is a video that is on his YouTube account. His username is VinnyBat118. He goes on this account and he live streams himself and a friend playing a baseball video game. NJ.com was the first to report his name, confirming it through traffic tickets, they say.
I'm not going to give you any more information, but I will say this, okay? Making threats against my family will not be tolerated.
Battelloro reportedly streamed this video after what happened on Tuesday night to the 2 girls you see here, Maria Neotis and Isabella Salas. Both were 17 years old. They were best friends. They were riding home together on e-bikes in their community of Cranford in northern New Jersey. It was Tuesday night around 5:30. WPIX took this image from their helicopter of the crime scene. The girls were on Burnside Avenue. It's a typical suburban street outside New York City. And as the girls were riding down the street, they were hit by a black Jeep Compass, police say, and the driver allegedly took off. Here's a picture that the Union County Prosecutor's Office put out in the wake of the crash as they searched for the driver. Soon after word of what happened to these young girls came out, neighbors went public with what they say was allegedly happening, that this was no accident, that it was not even a random hit and run. They claim This allegedly was a targeted attack by a boy who is allegedly stalking Maria Neotis. They say that person is now charged with her murder as well as Isabella's. And that person is who NJ.com is reporting to be Battloro, and the same team that reportedly goes by VinnyBat118 on social media. Now listen to what he said on a stream on Wednesday, September 24th. This is before the girls were killed. He says that he has a, quote, vengeance against someone named Maria.
So we're going to try to do this. I don't know if it'll work. The place closes at 12. But here's what we're going to do. I think Maria's hungry. I think we're going to send her a pizza. Sure. So y'all know I have a vengeance against this girl for accusing me of setting. I'm going to call a pizza to her house, and here's how I'm going to do it. So I told you that I bought the brand new iPhone 17 Pro Max the other day, and I'm going to be using this as my main phone now. Better camera to do vlogs on.
Oh, geez, we're so proud that you can own an iPhone 17. What is wrong with this man? His parents should have known something was going on with him. That friend that is on the live stream should have known that this man was unhinged. Mental health, man.
But in the process, I still have my iPhone 16 Pro Max. And here's what I'm going to be doing it. I'm going to be converting this as a burner phone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call Domino's, and I'm going to have a pizza sent to her house, and I'm going to tell the guy the driver will be paid cash at the door. Yes, cash at the door. So, Fula, or my dad wants to call you Falula, don't fool me, stupid name. You should not have accused me of sending porn, and you should not have dragged me into creating a police report. So, Fula, you made a bad decision making a bad name of myself. You made a bad decision having this girl return to that store without me being there. I think you're hungry. We're gonna send you a pizza. Okay? I'm getting the sale. I'm gonna use my burner. I'm gonna call in a pizza. I'm gonna use a VPN so I don't get trapped.
Or like five.
It was just a war with boredom.
Lord
forgive me.
You sure?
Amen. Wear the crown of thorns.
I don't know if I want to order 5. That would raise some suspicion.
Now you hear him say that he has a vengeance against Maria. 5 days later, Maria was killed by the person driving that black Jeep Compass, according to police. Her friend also killed as they were riding together home from that school function on e-bikes. Now, before we get back to this episode of On the Case, I need to talk about something important, because in covering true crime, we see a
Weren't they just beautiful, beautiful girls? It's so sad that they had to lose their life because this gentleman was fucking unhinged. Oops, excuse my language. Sorry. I'm not getting this. I'm not getting this kid, the 17-year-old. Benny, I think his name is. Maybe. Why? Why would you do that? So irresponsible. And it looks like he had the world. iPhone 17, iPhone 16, driving a nice car. All right, let's listen.
2 months ago, where Battloro is talking about Maria once again as he is playing this baseball video game streamed live on YouTube.
And she's getting her whole team to gang up on me. If I saw her in real life, she would be scared to even see my face, okay? And I only say that because somehow, some way, you know, I guess the brother of her got the report and said pull up to the house. When I said I would, the brother got all scared and backed out like a scaredy cat. He's dumb. Okay, he went back. He got all scared and backed out and said, I really don't want to fight. And then the girl in the body cam said, I don't expect you to realize how scared I am because he threatened to hurt me. So the brother said, come to the house. It's not worth my time.
Bataloro says he has body camera video of an incident from police that he put on his Instagram, and he told people to go to his now deleted profile for, quote, exclusive content. We are working on getting that body cam video for ourselves if it does exist. Now, when Maria was killed, her uncle went on social media and called the killer a psychopath. He writes in part, quote, my beautiful young 17-year-old niece was killed. He said the suspect had followed her to her house for months. He allegedly harassed her. They say they notified the police many times. The uncle called the suspect a psychopath in this post and said that he hopes the law now does its job. Now, apparently on the internet, to the people who follow Vincent Bataloro on his baseball YouTube live stream account, it was no secret that people believed that he had something to do with what happened to Maria and Isabella. What I'm about to show you is after the alleged murders of this girl. And it's a stream that he did from his home, and where the comments start coming in accusing him of this crime. Here he is reacting to a comment that says, quote, bro, you killed my best friend.
I don't need negativity in the stream, so everybody's getting timed out.
Then people start calling him a killer.
Killer.
Huh?
I'm thinking maybe another way to begin the stream.
He then turns off the comments and allegedly makes a statement about what happened to Maria and Isabella as he is about to stream a video game.
But I need to explain some things that have happened over the past few days. And I'm not going to talk much about it, but in a neighboring town, unfortunately, 2 girls were killed in a hit-and-run crash. Now, there has been a lot of misinformation going on over the internet. But I will say this. I wish my sincerest condolences to those 2 girls lost in that tragic accident. Okay? It is an absolute unfortunate situation, and there's more to the story that you're not getting. But when the time comes, I will explain it in greater detail. I'm not authorized to talk about the whole thing. I'm not going to give you any more information, but I will say this, okay? Making threats against my family will not be tolerated. My cousin has received hateful messages over social media about this whole spiel, and he's had to unfollow me on everything because of this whole drama. Why are you guys getting him involved? It's one thing, okay. If you hate me, you hate me. If you don't, you don't. You're opening up Pandora's box, getting family involved. And that just does not sit right with me. So I figured I'd make a statement about what happened. And I want to address something else, okay? Because this is a very serious incident that happened. And I really don't even know if I should be streaming this right now, but I have built a great following on TikTok with 39,000 followers that I have grown since 2020. And I want to thank each and every single one of y'all. I love you all to absolute death. And regardless of what happens, If you don't see me streaming for a little bit, you'll understand why. But this will be in the hands of Jesus. Everything will be okay. I will get this sorted out. And I plan to keep continuing playing co-op with my best friend, Evan. He has stuck by me through the whole side, and I want to thank him for that. Without my loyal friend playing co-op with me, I wouldn't be streaming YouTube right now. So, there's more to the story. But again, I'm not going to be authorized to comment on it. And I want to thank each and every single one of you guys that have stuck by me through this whole thing. And I want to address one more thing. Okay? I really think there needs to be more done to address mental health in the state. Because, you know, I don't even know how to explain this, dude. I've been bullied, ridiculed, and stuff over false allegations.
Okay, so he's talking about mental health. The programs need to be better. Well, all the mental health programs were cut at one time. He's saying that the girl, Maria, falsely accused him of doing something to her. And he is very upset about it, has been upset. And that's what drug it to that specific day when the two girls met their demise, which is very unfortunate. I think New Jersey, or the county that they live in, probably knew about what was going on. This gentleman that's on the live stream with him probably should have called the police. I mean, just so much. All this could have been avoided.
Okay? Over this whole thing about things that have happened in the past, there's more to this story. It'll come out in the future. Okay? And I'm going to let you all know this right now. I don't plan to go anywhere anytime soon regarding streaming. But again, if I do end up taking a hiatus, I'm telling you guys why. So, I really think New Jersey needs to do a better job addressing this mental health crisis because I've been through way too much. I'm a nice kid. I'm 17 years old with a good family by my side. And these allegations that have been ruining everything is a shame. But again, I'm going to leave it at that. I really think you all should be a lot nicer to each other. If anything happens, I'm going to give you all some advice. All right? If you get bullied and ridiculed in school about, stuff that people hate you, I would tell your counselor immediately. And, before this gets out of hand, you got to address all those things because I'll tell you what, the amount of bullying that I've been put through in the past has been absolutely absurd. And I'm going to be honest with you, the state is not doing a right job addressing this mental health crisis. And I hope Shitterelli can fix this shit. Okay? So, that is all I'm going to say about this whole thing. I'm not going to talk about it anymore on the advice of loved ones and others. We're going to play co-op with Evan. And we're only going to do one game. And depending upon the next steps, I'll probably be live tomorrow. Because here's the thing. I was originally going to start a school today. But with all this hoorah happening, they kind of screwed that up. So I plan to be live tomorrow. I don't know about Evan, but again, you're going to be seeing more lives coming in the future, and I will address this whole thing hopefully in the next coming days. So, Evan, if you want to say anything, you are more than welcome to.
He then goes back to playing a video game. Now, you just hear in his voice, at least to me, this comes off as someone who thinks they are in control. You heard him making accusations about bullying. We'll see how this case progresses forward and whether that becomes a factor in the defense. But if what he is accused of is true, the fact that he went on social media talking freely about this case in many ways while playing a video game, if all of that is true and he is guilty of what he's accused of, that is incredibly unhinged. The suspect in this case is facing 2 counts of first-degree murder. Now, in the wake of his arrest, the police chief in the neighboring town, whose last name is Battelloro, released a statement on the town of Westfield's official Facebook page, and it was kind of a shocker. It reads in part, quote, "While social media has made it known that the accused is related to me, he is not my son and not a member of my immediate family. I want to be clear, as loud and as firm as possible, that in no way do my wife, children, or I condone, defend, or excuse the actions that caused this terrible and tragic loss of life." He said that he remained silent over the past couple of days until charges were filed against the suspect, who he does not name in this post. Now, it's hard to imagine what these families are going through. The phone call that they received the night that these 2 girls were killed. This is a picture that was posted by Isabella's family just days ago. Their daughter behind the wheel, learning to drive, with the caption by her mom that reads, quote, "A moment like this." Maria's obituary says that she was born in Greece. She moved to the U.S. with her family, and after high school, she wanted to start a career in cosmetology. There is a GoFundMe for these girls that at this time has raised more than $145,000. Join us now to break this one down is retired NYPD Detective David Sarney. It's always great to have you on Law and Crime. These YouTube videos, these streams that the suspect allegedly did we'll start with the ones after these 2 young women were killed. Clearly, if all of this is true, I mean, unhinged is the word that I keep thinking of. But in terms of an investigation, what role will these live streams play?
Again, thank you for having me. Again, you're going to look at this as a time frame. He's putting himself kind of in the position of where this incident took place, which is beneficial. And he's laying out an alleged alibi. So that's a benefit for police, because if you haven't had a chance to speak to him, you now have some more information about what he's saying. He's saying there's more to it, so it's beneficial. It's important because you're going to utilize that in the trial, when there's a trial for this case, because he's putting himself involved. Even though he's saying he doesn't say anything about the involvement, he does kind of involve himself by his quasi statements there.
Right, because he doesn't straight up say that he certainly doesn't deny when people on this live stream are calling him out for it, but at the same time, he does not go over the line and say that he actually did it, kind of leaves it very vague. In cases like this, because, if this was an alleged murder of a firearm, the act of shooting someone more often than not is an intentional act. People driving a car, everybody does it every day. How do you prove in cases like this that it actually was an intentional act to hit these 2 young women?
Well, he's the claims of knowledge of him to the family. They know him. They know of him. They saying they stalked him for months. Now, if there are reports based on harassment on the family, and I believe there are, and apparently neighbors said they saw him parked in front of their house, in front of this girl's house, time and time again for months, apparently. So that is another part of that investigation, another part of the piece to that puzzle. So, the intention is, the speed limit apparently is 15 to 25 miles an hour. He struck him at 70 miles an hour. I mean, they're looking at 70 miles an hour. This is where the accident, you look at the street, you can't say it's an accident. You can't say it was a mistake. I mean, that's the thing about it, which is beneficial, because I always say it was beneficial, but it's an assistance to that investigation. You want to make sure that you have everything. That 70 miles an hour why there with those two girls on their e-bikes? Why then and there did that happen? And that's what you're looking at. And so you're going to try to get that why. If he's not going to tell you the why, the parts of that investigation will take place, which is the speed of the vehicle, any damage to the vehicle, statements now after the fact is what he's doing. He's not denying anything. He's denying nothing of the incident. He just says everything will come out, kind of, surmising it, going, well, there's more to this story than what it is. And whatever that is, he's claiming bullying, claiming harassment. The girl's family says he's been doing it to get to them too. So regardless of the disagreements the girls had with him, his intent was to do damage. You don't go 70 miles an hour and strike two people. And that's what he did. He struck two people.
And that's the thing is you hear in one of the videos, he's kind of, the defense would be, I was bullied at school. And there's no doubt bullying's a big issue. And even if he was bullied, you still have you still get to the point where he would allegedly be behind the wheel of a vehicle targeting two people on e-bikes. One girl he didn't even know, apparently. It was all about the one girl he allegedly had stalked, according to what everything's been reported at this point. Even if that's the case, say it was a horrific case of bullying at school, and there's something we don't know, and something happened at school. Would any of that impact the case we're talking about, which is he's behind the wheel of a car, allegedly deliberately going at two people, hitting them at 70 miles per hour. And I think it's 35 miles per hour was the speed limit on that road.
Yeah, you have to look at it this way. And there's no excuse. I was a teacher for years. There's no excuse, regardless of how much bullying it is, to actually, and this is the reality of it. There's information that he was parking the vehicle. They was back and forth. He's on his streaming app. He's on a streaming app complaining about them. He sends a fake food delivery to their house. He's doing a lot of things. If you're talking about bullying, you fake the phone, you kind of spoof the phone, where then you're making calls to their house with deliveries of pizza. This is a person, I don't say he's unhinged, and if you're harassment, if you're bullied, there's alternative ways to handle it. And this is, from a parental perspective, horrible to see for your family. If you're the parents and you've seen your kid go to this level, I can't imagine what has been done allegedly.
Sorry, everybody. I did not mean to do that. I
because
had a very important phone call. My landlord wanted to know why the internet guy was outside today. And I had to tell her, well, I guess it wasn't very important, but I had to tell her that the internet just wasn't working good. So I do apologize, but isn't this kid just sick? Sick in the head? But he's going to explain how New Jersey has these laws that if you're under the age of 18, you are a minor, you will, I just don't know how he's going to be charged. It's nobody's saying. So let's listen.
He's the claimed allegation of bullying. And let me tell you, if you're being bullied by two girls, this is not the way. There's no explanation as to taking a vehicle and running into people because you were bullied by them. He also was doing the same thing back. Apparently he's harassing them also. And they made a harassment complaint. Whether it was followed up, how many reports were made, that's going to come up. But apparently on his video, he said the complaint was being dropped for either lack of cooperation by one of the victims.
Well, and he had said as well that apparently there's some body camera video somewhere, because he had said that he had it. We're working on getting it because we'd like to see that and what context it adds to the dispute that they were in. But even let's just go back. Let's just say his side of it is, hey, I was bullied by these two girls. There's no proof of that at this point. That's just what he's been saying. But he also says in that video where he talks about ordering a pizza to her house, if this is the same girl, but he says the name of the mom, which is, I believe, her mom, and it's clear that that's who he's talking about. He says he has a, quote, vengeance for this girl, and he's going to order this pizza. In terms of damaging things on these live streams and how it played out, and I'm not a lawyer, but if I was, I would point and say that is clearly that this isn't being bullied. This is a back and forth dispute you had with someone. You were not the victim in this case.
Right. Yeah, that's what you're looking at. Bullying would be someone consistently harassed and has no alternative to do. He was doing it back. He was involved, and with the phone calls for the pizza, he was trying to. He called the wrong number, so he didn't even just stop at that. He consistently went on that rant about the pizza delivery and making the phone calls. This is not a person that's bullied. This is a person that has, and like you said, Chris, pretty accurately, it seems to be a back and forth dispute for whatever unknown reason. Apparently, he was mad at her also because she, I think, was dealing with Charlie Kirk's, murder. She was very flippant on it from his perspective, from what he's saying. So they're just building to this level of anger. But it comes back again with kids. Juveniles have no way of being resilient. They don't know how to handle their emotions. They don't know how to handle anger. And all they do now is just lash out. This kid had 40,000 followers, around 40,000 followers on his channel, which is shocking to think about a kid having that many viewers. He's been on the system since 2020. So he's been raised in video. So everything he expects is praise. Now someone is not praising him. Someone is either going back at him for something, and it's someone that he knows. So now he does what he thinks is right in his mind. I'll go back at her. And then somehow he develops this idea that the only way I could deal with this vengeance is to finally do something about it.
And he speaks with such a confidence.
He is not scared.
Definitely.
If you look at a person who, if you're accused of a crime like that, would you go on video and talk about it? And he was calm, collected. He was mad about people were saying.
Oh my God, I would never, ever, ever get on YouTube and start talking about stuff like that. That's just wild. Like, I don't get it. Why? Why did this happen? But he said one day it'll all come out. So I think the girl was dropping it because she was being harassed by him so bad that she had no other choice. What do you guys think? Allegedly. Okay, here we go.
Bad things about him. I mean, like they're texting him, they're writing, they're saying things, and he shuts them off, and he doesn't go off. He stops that and talks, which tells you this is a person who is confident in their actions. You don't want to hear about crazy or insane. He is confident in what he did or his actions, and he kind of explains it. There's more to the story, but there's not more to a story if you are engaged in running two girls over for whatever reason you think it is. There's no explanation for that. And legally, the police can only do what we can do. And harassment, even if that case was followed up in his harassment charge in New Jersey, he's a juvenile in that sense. They're not going to be able to do anything. He'll get might see a juvenile officer. That'll be it. Maybe he would get maybe 20 hours of community service. That's the thing. There's no punishment the police or the legal system can do. But this is something that schools need to look at, dealing with kids and how they're handling their relationships.
Well, and that's what stood out to me was like the
Absolutely,
confidence with which he speaks in these videos. And the idea that he thinks he's going to be back playing his video game with his friend after this is like he signs off in the video being like, I'll be back here with his friend playing these games, as if like in the world of, if this is all true, like he killed two people allegedly. And it's the idea like that it's like that world doesn't exist for him. And it's just bizarre to watch and to think he's 17 years old and doesn't seem to comprehend the reality of outside of the video game world. I mean, he'll be lucky if he plays a video game ever again once he's convicted of right now, which is double murder. I know it's 17. I mean, he's a minor in New Jersey. What goes into, he's going to be facing these two charges. I don't know when his birthday is, but the idea of being charged as a juvenile compared to an adult.
Well, that's another issue looking at. They issued summonses to him, and like, why would you do the summonses? The summonses, you don't need an age, which is beneficial because at least you have something there. It's a good thing to have. And reality is that was what he did. His actions were on those summonses. Leaving the scene, excessive speeding, no license, all of that. The juvenile. Now, this is the thing about Jersey. They could take him to adult court if they wish to. New York State's the same thing. You can be charged a juvenile for those type high-level crimes. In this case, a murder. They may keep it in juvenile court, family court, because he's going to be 18 next month. So it doesn't really change much. That's why he's going to be 18 when they go to trial. The action was at 17. So that's the thing. He's a juvenile considered in New Jersey. The prosecutor's office of the Union County, I think, is the prosecutor. Their office can determine whether or not they want to take this to from family court to criminal court. And That's why they're building all this information. That's why they're all building this investigation. The summonses. They're going to get probably any ring cameras that people have, any more information they have. Look back on anything. I don't know if they interview victims or complainants on body-worn camera, because I know sometimes some agencies don't do that. If they're doing that, that's something you want to have too. If there is that body-worn camera, if there's body-worn footage from officers talking to them, that's beneficial too. So everything's going to play into that, whether they're going to raise it up to that murder charge, from family to criminal court. And looking at them and just hearing them, this isn't a child. We're into this whole thing about culpability. You don't understand. He understood enough to get in, and allegations, of course. He understood enough to prank call pizza, and we've all done that at one time. You've done prank calls. That's not the point there. But raising to the level of what he did, where he's actually apparently sitting in front of their house, the police get a complaint report about him, and it doesn't stop you. You continue on. And if it's true that he got in the car, saw them, and ran them down at 70 miles an hour, the intent is there. There's no, I made a mistake. It's a residential street. It's not a highway. What the crime scene apparently was horrific. You think about two girls being run over by a car, like one body, but I think one body, they were like separated. It separated from each other. I don't know how, I don't even talk about the crime scene, but imagine responding to that and that neighborhood is an extremely quiet residential neighborhood, and you're seeing this happen, and everyone gets out and sees this. And now you look at it as not a mistake. It looks like it's an intentional act.
Yeah, and it's just from the crime scene to these young women who, their lives were all
just crazy. Just a crazy story. So I can't wait to see how things turn out for this gentleman. Hopefully, he will not be charged as a juvenile for these horrendous crimes. And these girls will get justice. They deserve justice for sure. They were coming home from a school event. They were minding their business. I don't care how much allegedly they were stalking him, or he was, they just didn't deserve that. All right, let's go on to the next one. We are going to talk about the woman in Texas that decided to take out her 2 children. And 2 of them are in critical condition in the hospital. How scary, right? Like a Diane Downs situation, right? Diane Downs. That's what it is. Mental health. She looks like she's got some mental health. I don't want to judge people, but it looks like she's in her mugshot. I understand she went through a lot previous to that mugshot. But mental health plays a big part in a lot of these cases, and it's just ridiculous. I want to find. All right, so this was the one. Whoa, ma'am, you are loud. All right. I keep forgetting to bring it to StreamYard.
who's tracking that breaking news happening in Brazoria County.
And Brianna, you're near Angleton, where deputies say a suspect is in custody, correct?
Yeah, Brendan, Charlie, that's correct. They tell us that there's a female suspect in custody right now, a woman here. They are not revealing the relationship right now to those 4 children that were shot here, but they do tell us they believe she's the woman that actually brought the children to this location. We want to show you how this scene looked like when we first got here on scene. Deputies combing through evidence here for hours. Again, we know 4 children were shot here. They just updated us and told us that the 2 children that had to be flown to the hospital are stable right now. Again, we know that 2 children did die here on scene. And again, the new update at this hour, that 8 and 9-year-old that were flown, again, are stable right now. Back out here live, they say there is no threat to the community right now. But another new update that we have learned is that the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office says they actually assisted in this investigation at a home in Montgomery County. Again, we're not exactly sure how the 2 are related right now, but they do tell us it's related somehow, some way.
Wow, how traumatizing, right? The two children that are left behind, I guess, are talking to law enforcement. All right, should we go to the press conference?
Yesterday, Brazoria County deputies responded to an unthinkable, unimaginable tragedy. This event has shaken our community, and we are all feeling the loss. While this remains an active investigation, I do want to share what details with you that I can at this point. Evidence indicates that the driver of the vehicle identifies as a 31-year-old Oninda Romulus. She's the mother of the 4 children involved. All 4 children have sustained gunshot wounds. Sadly, a 13-year-old boy and a 3-year-old girl did not survive. We are thankful to report that an 8-year-old boy and a 9-year-old girl are now in stable condition. We believe that the evidence shows that this tragedy has occurred inside of the vehicle, and that Romulus, the mother of the children, is a shooter. At 4:48 a.m. yesterday, Romulus called the Brazoria County Sheriff's Office. When deputies arrived, they immediately began providing lifesaver measures to each children until medical help could arrive. The 2 surviving children were life-flighted into a Houston area hospital, where they remain in stable condition. Romulus was later arrested and charged with 2 counts of murder and 2 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, with a total bond set at $14 million. Romulus is a current resident of the Montgomery County here in Texas, where Sheriff Wesley Doolittle is the sheriff there of Montgomery County, and he is here with us today. His office has assisted us with investigative tasks that have taken place there in Montgomery County. Our investigators, along with responding agencies, continue to collect and analyze evidence in this case in this ongoing investigation. I also want to thank the people of Brazoria County and our surrounding communities. The prayers, the messages, and support shown for these children, and also for the first responders involved in this, mean more to us than what words can express. It is impossible to make sense of a senseless tragedy like this, but we will do everything we can to seek justice for these children. I will now open this up for a few questions. However, before I do want to be clear that there are still many details that cannot be released at this point. Okay, so you have any questions? Yes, ma'am.
J1 with KPRC. I was wondering if you happen to know exactly the location where the shooting took place.
Again, that is part of the ongoing investigation that we're still looking into. So
You mentioned that she called 911. Can you explain a little bit more about that? At what point did it happen?
At what point did what happen? She called, yes, she called 911. I believe the time was what, 4:48 a.m. Is that what I said? Yeah. Well, yes.
What did she say exactly when she called?
She called and our deputies responded. She called and she gave us information that we needed to come to her location. We didn't know exactly what we were responding to at the time.
I'm sorry, short classification. Can you share what investigators found at their home in Montgomery County? Is it, and that's their permanent residence there?
That's exactly where her permanent residence was. That's part of the ongoing investigation. That's where her residence was, so that's why we went to that residence.
Did she have any criminal history, or is there any?
Again, that's part of the ongoing investigation that we're continue to look into, and I can assure you that we will do everything in our power to find justice for these children.
Have the two surviving children been interviewed, or are there plans to interview them and get an understanding of what they saw?
Can you ask your question again?
Have the two surviving children been interviewed, or is there plans?
Yes, they have been interviewed. They're going to continue to cooperate as well. Yeah.
Is she a parent that has sole custody of the children?
I'm not going to mention much about the custody situation. There's a lot of things that are still it's an active investigation. Okay.
Sheriff, would you have an active investigation? We understand it's not a lot.
There really is not.
But a lot of folks are just wondering, what went wrong here?
Right.
Is there anything that you could share with us, just as far as what went wrong?
Like I said, at this point, this is still an ongoing. However, what is most important is that our team is working on this. We've been burning the midnight oil on this ever since this dropped, right? So I can assure you we're looking into this, and there is a lot of stuff that is not able to be released at this point. So, all right. I got one more question.
One more question. I gotta get you guys back.
Are you able to share what kind of weapons recovered, or was there a weapon recovered?
I'm still, like I said, it was a weapon that she did utilize, and she did shoot. I'm not going to tell you all the calibers and all the details of it. There's not time for that.
Quick question. Hey, folks, I'm sorry. I just had one more question. I gotta get you guys back to work. I'll answer any additional they have.
Any indication, you said that the mother lives in Montgomery County.
Yes.
Why was she in Brazoria? Can you release that information? What brought her here?
I can, again, that is part of the active and ongoing investigation that we're looking into. I apologize.
All right, folks. I really appreciate you
being
being here, and I know we're not able to release a lot
That
of
is
information
just
at this
so
point. There's a lot
sad
of-
that like I said, mental health, man. It just seems like even there's still help out there. I mean, your insurance, if you're having severe mental health issues, you're going to get help from a hospital. Like, they're going to admit you. So I guess I just don't understand.
Things that we can't speculate on as part of a criminal matter, but I just really appreciate you being down here. If you'd like, I'd be able to answer any of your questions, and I'll make sure to get that stuff in our
Well, I
release.
guess she's going to answer some questions.
I think the biggest thing that we didn't have information of yesterday was where this event occurred. The sheriff did say it in his statement, but we do know that it did occur inside the vehicle at this point. Again, the specific locations, the specific weapons, that is all something that is still part of that ongoing investigation. I'm trying to think. I would say so, yes.
Can you spell her first and last name?
Absolutely. I actually don't have that in front of me. I apologize. I will put it in that release whenever I send it out to your respective agencies.
And she is in Brazoria County jail.
Correct. Yes. And she is on that $14 million bond.
What do we know about the motive?
The motive, I can't speculate on that right now. Yeah, I can't speculate on that one right now. I do know that we are working and interviewing both her and any other witnesses involved to try to determine that.
In the press release, you guys mentioned something about individuals in custody
Mhm.
involved in this case. What are we talking in plural?
I believe the phrasing of the press release was that all the individuals involved were detained. We've only actually taken one into custody. So, and by individuals involved, it was anyone who saw anything, any witnesses, et cetera, just to make sure that we got all that information. Any witnesses, a lot of them have actually already come forward, which is great. So.
We just believe that there's just one person involved in this matter, and this is the mother.
Yeah, as the sheriff said, the shooter is the mother in this case, and at least all the evidence that we currently have at this point points to that.
Just to clarify, you said the call was made at 4:48 a.m.?
Yes, a.m. Correct.
Is there any information on who will be taking custody of the two surviving children?
No, not at this time.
And it was a 13-year-old boy, 3-year-old girl?
Yes, yesterday it was 4 p.m. or 4. The age was listed as 4, and that was my fault. I did some bad math. Apologies on that. But yes, very, very sadly, a 3-year-old.
And all 4 of those kids were her kids?
That is our understanding, is that she was the mother of all 4.
13-year-old boy, 4-year-old girl, and then what are the genders of the other 2 that you know?
I don't want to swap them. I know it was a boy and a girl, but let me confirm on which age had which.
Do you know, did they like as far as the kids, were they attending like a specific school district? Do you know, like, is that information been?
I don't have that one offhand. If that can be released, I'll put it in our press release.
The suspect, African-American, white, Hispanic?
African American female, age 31.
Is she cooperating in the investigation? She being forthright?
Yes, that's a great question. I would say that she has been interviewed. That is the way I would answer that question. Any others?
She doesn't have any criminal history?
Not any that I can release at this point. Yes. Not that I'm aware of. Any other questions?
And the bond, just to confirm, 14 million, is that?
Yes, 14 million total for all 4 charges. So the 2 murder charges were both set at a $5 million bond. And then the charges for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon were each set at $2 million.
And the 2 surviving children are still in hospital? And you said stable condition?
They are in stable condition. My understanding is that they're still receiving medical treatment, but I haven't verified that in a number of hours. So.
Do we know which hospital?
Houston area is what I have.
Has the suspect, has she already appeared before judge, or she just in custody at this point?
She would have had to be magistrated to receive her bond amounts, so she should have appeared before a judge, at least in that capacity. Any other questions? All right, folks, thank you, and thank you for your patience. I really appreciate you. And if I'll be available as you guys take down, if you.
All right. That is just absolutely very, very saddening to have to even hear how a mother allegedly harmed her children. It's very sad. I would never, ever think of doing such a horrific thing. But I also get help for my mental health, like it's there. Like, you can get mental health. It's there. I promise. All right, let's go over to the Houston bodies that are being found. I am not real familiar on it, but we can watch some news clips on it. Well, this seems to be 13th body found in Houston Bayou this year. This one shows a picture. Okay, let me share it. I always forget to do that. I think you guys are just automatically watching it. Okay.
Beneath the murky and slow-moving current of Houston's bayous are secrets buried deep underwater, junk, abandoned cars, and even bodies. In 2015, Channel 2 Investigates discovered hundreds of vehicles submerged in local bayous. We really began looking into it, and 3 years later, the story is more grim. Dozens of people found dead along waterways in Harris County since 2015. Investigator Joel Eisenbaum discovered at least 40 cases. Tonight, he's telling their stories and revealing the deadliest stretch of water in the county.
This summer,
I heard someone screaming, "Help me!"
on Greens Bayou, 58-year-old Rebecca Sue Heinrich was found in the water, dismembered. The same month on Brays Bayou.
I was like, I think that's a body.
On Buffalo Bayou, and then Sims Bayou. In July, 4 bayous with 4 bodies that got us thinking.
How many are in there?
Channel 2 Investigates, led by Texas EquiSearch CEO Tim Miller, has ventured into Houston's murky depths before.
I believe it was May the 12th of 2014 when Channel 2 broke the news with Joel Eisenbaum.
A few years ago, Miller's team discovered and mapped the staggering number of sunken cars hidden in our bayous. Now Channel 2 Investigates is mapping the bodies. In Harris County alone, we discovered at least 40 dead people have been pulled from our bayous since 2015.
It's stunning. I mean, I'm almost speechless. I don't know what to think of it.
Of the 40, we found only 6 were clear-cut homicides. In twice as many cases, the manner of death remains undetermined. Autopsy records show the greatest share of victims met their end by accidental drowning.
After taking a closer look at the numbers, it would in fact appear that most of the people who die in our bayous don't die by murder, but sometimes by misadventure.
My brother's name is Michael Edwards. I was pretty much devastated.
In February, 59-year-old Michael Edwards, a carpenter by trade, apparently lost his footing and slipped into Brays Bayou.
There was a witness that saw him go into the bayou, but by the time they couldn't find him.
Hours later, they did. Edwards had drowned along a curious stretch in southeast Houston. Since 2015, 7 other bodies have surfaced in the same 3-mile section of Brays Bayou. It's an area we know well.
It's just curious to me that these bodies are found in the same stretch where all those bayou cars are.
I wonder if it is a coincidence. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'd like to put my boat in the water right now that we came up with this information.
With the busy Gulf Freeway on one end, where 40-year-old Douglas Mills was stabbed and dumped in April, this area is well-traveled, with easy access for most. Heartbreak for some.
I still have trouble believing it.
Dozens of unfortunate stories that we've now mapped. Want to take a closer look? We've got this clickable map on click2houston.com. You can find it under the Investigate section. Joel Eisenbaum, KPRC, Channel 2 News.
All right, y'all. So that was about that. We will see about another story here. Isn't that just crazy? This girl's the 13th body.
Now, a top story here tonight, the bodies being found in Houston bayous. Houston police report another body was just recovered today from the Buffalo Bayou area near Jensen and East downtown. So if you've been watching and keeping track alongside us, that is 4 bodies recovered in 4 days. Today is Thursday. And sadly, a U of H student has been identified as one of the bodies recovered from the Bayou area on September 15th. That's Monday. She was reported missing days before. Sherman DeSalle has been covering this story for a couple of days now. And Sherman, it is scary stuff here, but just kind of fill us in on what we know so far.
Yeah, it's definitely a cause of concern for a lot of our viewers. Many have made some speculations online about something maybe more nefarious happening here, and that's understandable. Our Fox 26 count is now at 13 bodies found in Houston bayous this year by law enforcement and first responders. Remember, the 22 bayous are spread out for miles, so it's a lot of ground to cover, and that comes with tough investigations. Here's what we know. HPD confirms a male body was recovered from Buffalo Bayou on Jensen Street in Edo on Thursday. Our camera caught officers and a dive team on the scene around 3 p.m. There were reports of a man jumping into the water there. We're waiting to hear more on this. And remember when we reported 2 bodies recovered from local bayous on Monday, September 15th? One of them was identified as 20-year-old Jade Sage McKissick. She was a U of H student, reported missing on September 11th, last seen that day near the 3700 block of McGregor by a restaurant. She was a junior communications and advertising major. In a letter sent to students, U of H describes her as a campus resident and a student employee and a friend to many in their community. We're talking about a lot of bodies in a city where many people walk, run, and bike the bayou areas every day. So we visited an area near the White Oak Bayou to see how people have been reacting to the discoveries. A lot of people are just wondering, what's the deal? HPD hasn't really given us a lot of information either. What questions do you have? I mean, is there somebody paying attention to these? Is there more details to investigation? I don't know. It's just kind of scary at this point. When it's that many coincidences, there's not such a coincidence that happens multiple times.
Exactly. That is very scary. That's just wild. Be safe. Anybody in Houston, by there, please be safe. I mean, my God, even the water itself could just be jinxed. Just stay away from it. Scary.
Long-term plans and the short-term plans. I would hope that the short-term plans are in effect, and something is being done. Someone's patrolling, or someone's watching over cameras or lights, or anything's being done right now.
One of the guys who just said, is anyone paying attention to these? That really brings us right back to HPD. So have we heard anything from HPD on these?
We haven't. I have been on the scene of the last 2 recoveries, hoping to hear something from public information officer. Mm-hmm. Haven't heard anything. We've reached out. They say we don't anticipate hearing anything right now. We did reach out to the county forensics department, see if they'd be willing to say something. They didn't give an on-camera interview, but we are requesting more details from all of these instances, especially in the last couple of days. So hopefully we'll get some more information. But we hear what you're concerned about wondering if it's something more that we should be paying attention to, and we're trying to get to the bottom of it.
Yeah, we'll certainly continue to ask those.
All right. I think that's about it on that. There's really, there's tons of videos on it, but it's just pretty much saying the same thing. I just want to give my condolences to everyone who has lost their life, to horrible crimes, maybe accidental drownings, anything. I feel bad. I feel bad for everybody. But I kind of want to keep this on the low end, so it's not so much to watch, so more people will watch my videos. I appreciate everybody watching, if they watch on the restream. And can't wait for the next one. I'm probably go live tomorrow. I was going to get on camera today, but, I just got over COVID and I still don't feel quite up to par. So anyways, y'all know what to do. Please like, share, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next stream. All right. Thank you.